Behold, the humble ice type. The very, very, very humble ice type. So humble, it's got no delusions of being competitively viable. I'm really sorry, Delibird. Hopefully one day you— oh my god. Wait, what's going on? Delibird, what happened to you?
I am Iron Bundle.
Okay, it's Gen 9, it's almost 2026, we're in the future. Ice types aren't the worst possible type anymore. As a matter of fact, the ice type is probably more competitively relevant than it's ever been. Today they're doing far more than just one-shotting the odd Landorus here or there. Global warming? If it was warm out, then why is it snowing? Checkmate, gamers. Anyways, today we're simply going to examine the ice type's place in Generation 9 competitive Pokemon and answer the question, are ice type Pokemon still bad? Leave a like, subscribe, become a YouTube member, check out the Patreon, hype the video, do all that, let's just begin. And yes, this is technically a Christmas video. Before we can examine the ice type's viability in Generation 9, we need to put things into perspective, so I present to you a very, very brief history of the ice type.
He's gonna take you back to the past.
In Gen 1, there are only 5 fully evolved ice types in the game, and all of them were somewhat worth running because they learned the move Blizzard, a move which at this point was 90% accurate with 120 base power and had a 10% chance to freeze the target, which in this game was better referred to as one-shotting, because in Gen 1 the only way to thaw out a Pokemon that was frozen was to hit it with a fire-type move or be hit with the move Haze, which is entirely in the opponent's control, so just don't do that, I guess. Yep, every move with a chance to freeze in this game somewhat also functions as an OHKO move 1 in every 10 times. In this gen, ice types were niche because the non-ice types were also perfectly good Blizzard users, but the fact that they could spam stab Blizzard was a pretty big boon for them. And even within this gen, the ice types matchups were pretty balanced. It only had 3 weaknesses in fire, fighting, and rock, and they even hit fire types for neutral damage. In Gen 2, the ice type got nerfed, with it gaining a weakness to steel types and now having fire types resist their attacks. Blizzard also got nerfed to just 70 accuracy, and harsh sunlight was added, making it so all Pokemon were immune to freeze as long as it was active. And Pokemon now have a small chance to thaw at the end of each turn. Also, we got 3 new ice type evolution lines, but I'm not going to note this for any more gens. Gen 3 added Hail, making it so ice types finally got their own weather. And what did this weather do? Well, all it did was make it so that all Pokemon that weren't ice type took damage at the end of each turn, and it activated certain abilities like, well, actually just Forecast. Congrats to Cast Form and Cast Form alone. As it turns out, ice types wouldn't get any weather-dependent abilities until Generation 4, meaning the ice type didn't so much benefit from Hail as much as it just didn't get negatively affected by it. Which is really silly. What was the point of Hail this gen? Just to put steel types in their place? Oh cool, you messed up Metagross's paint job. Surely that'll keep it never mind. Gen 4 is when we finally see the introduction of abilities like Snow Warning to finally have a Pokemon automatically set up Hail, and Ice Body or Snow Cloak to benefit from the weather. On top of that, Blizzard also finally got buffed to bypass accuracy checks as long as Hail was active, something that'll remain the ice type's biggest buff until Generation 9. I can't be bothered to explain the changes to weather in Gen 5. We jump to Generation 7, where Alolan Ninetales got introduced, who not only got Snow Warning as an ability, but a new move in Aurora Veil, which is literally just Light Screen and Reflect built into one move that can only be used if snow is active. And we even got Alolan Sandslash to pretend it was good for a year of VGC. Gen 8 added 2 actually great Ice-type legendary Pokemon, but technically it's just one and the same Pokemon with a deer riding it. And finally we get to Generation 9, where we can finally discuss the modern iteration of the ice type, but up until now, you can see how a type weak to 3 of the best offensive types in the game, and resisting only itself could struggle a bit competitively. What doesn't help is the fact that for some reason, Game Freak decided that over all these years, many of the new ice types would be defensive Pokemon that sometimes literally move at a glacial pace, rather than just allowing the ice type to do what it does best, attack. At its best performance prior to Gen 9, the ice type was rather niche. Gen 9 rectifies most of these issues with just a few simple changes. The first and biggest change to the ice type was that Hail was completely removed from the game. No longer would Hail just be a kind of lame hipster sandstorm, it was completely replaced with snow, which intuitively should have been the weather condition from the start, because why would most regions experience hail but not snow? Yeah, that happens in real life, but I don't know, it just never sat right with me. Snow would grant all ice types a 50% increase to their defense stats as long as it was active, while still allowing perfectly accurate blizzards and activating all the same abilities that Hail would. This effectively made the defensive ice types much more difficult to KO, as they could now circumvent the main weaknesses of their typing, but it also made the already powerful glass cannon ice types just bulky enough to tank hits that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. And despite having a brief identity crisis in Pokemon Legends Arceus as Frostbite, a status that decreased the affected Pokemon's special attacking power, Freeze was brought back immediately in Gen 9. The second biggest change was more to do with the design philosophy behind new Ice-type Pokemon. Ice types from Gens 8 and 9 onward were no longer counterintuitively designed as bulky wall Pokemon. They were just allowed to be crazy offensive Pokemon. Something that Game Freak seemed to be afraid to do before, but now with Pokemon easily able to beat Ice types like Incineroar and Urshifu running things, it probably seemed like the right time to do this. These two gens brought us powerhouse Ice types like Glastrier, Calyrex Ice, Galarian Darmanitan, Baxcalibur, Chien-pao, Iron Bundle, and hey, let's be generous, get in here, Mr. Rhyme. Of course, I'm a VGC creator, so we're mostly just going to focus on doubles, but I do need to stress just how stupidly broken Guerrilla Tactics Darmanitan is. We need to start with chien-pao because it's kind of become the face of the Ice-type renaissance in competitive Pokemon. As an Ice-Dark type with an impressive 135 base speed stat and 120 attack, it's clearly going to see competitive play. But despite it already outclassing Weavile on paper purely due to its higher speed, it manages to leave Weavile collecting unemployment due to its ability Sword of Ruin. Sword of Ruin makes chien-pao a real team player by having it passively decrease all active Pokemon without the ability Sword of Ruin's defense to 75%, making it so physical attackers are a much bigger threat. This has enabled the likes of Iron Hands, Rillaboom, Dragonite, and Urshifu next to it to be devastating attackers, and chien-pao has become a staple of VGC due to its splash ability and innate power. While Glastrier today is more niche due to its slightly lower stats and less consistent moves, Calyrex Ice is universally considered to be a broken Pokemon, due to the fact that it can function in both Trick Room and Tailwind while having a perfectly accurate 130 base power spread Ice move in Glacial Lance, all that combined with its ability as one, which prevents opposing Pokemon from eating berries, so no Yachi Berry for you Garchomp, and snowballing its attack stat every time it scores a KO. It's just a Pokemon that will remain overpowered well until Generation 14, cause let's be honest, everything gets power crept someday. Baxcalibur is a Pokemon which perfectly showcases how Gen 9's new items allow the Ice type to thrive in modern competitive formats, as it's not only a Pokemon known for its usage of the Clear Amulet to allow it to Swords Dance and threaten Pokemon with its Icicle Crashes, Glaive Rushes, and Ice Shards, but it's also a notorious loaded dice user. The loaded dice guarantees the holder gets at least 4 hits off with their multi-hit attacks. This causes Icicle Spear to become at minimum a 100 base power attack that bypasses Focus Sash and Sturdy. And when Baxcalibur combines Swords Dance with loaded dice and Scale Shot, it gets a similar effect, only it's slightly less accurate but comes with a built-in speed buff. Baxcalibur is a very strong all-around offensive Pokemon that can not only tank hits despite its Ice typing, but score easy KOs even against moderately bulky opponents. Iron Bundle has become one of the most threatening Pokemon on Team Preview and VGC, and it even managed to get banned to Ubers and singles. It's an Ice-Water type with actually impressive physical bulk, one of the highest speed stats in the game, and an impressive 124 base special attack stat. But what really keeps it viable is its ability Quark Drive, which, when paired with the booster energy, allows Iron Bundle to outspeed every Pokemon in the game, supporting its teammates with Icy Wind speed control, Freeze Dry and Blizzard to hit things as hard as possible, and even Encore to lock opponents into Protect if they even dare to try to make a defensive play. Iron Bundle's viability has even led to Abomasnow in competitive play, with it allowing Iron Bundle to have perfectly accurate Blizzards further boosted by Terra Ice to deal massive damage and threatening the dreaded freeze status. Where were you when Articuno won a major? Because when word got out that Specs Snowcloak Articuno was a threat, literally everyone had to rethink what they had been doing playing VGC up until that point. Yes, even Articuno, the poster child of mediocre Ice types, managed to become a metagame threat in Regulation FVGC. By terastallizing Articuno into a pure Ice type and having it hold the choice specs, Articuno became the perfect balance of speed, bulk, and offensive power with Snow and Veil active. On top of all that, when facing Articuno, if you manage to avoid being frozen or outright KO'd by Specs Helping Hand Blizzard, you may not even be able to land a move, because beyond its impressive power and bulk, Articuno was also packing the ability Snowcloak, which causes Articuno to have its evasiveness increased by 25% as long as Snow is active. Even Blood Moon, a move that's supposed to ignore evasiveness boosts, could miss it for some reason. This team was rage-inducing. Nicky already managed to build possibly the greatest Articuno team of all time. And when people realized just how broken a mediocre Pokemon like Articuno could be on this team, it spawned copycats, with literally every Pokemon with access to Blizzard seeing themselves copy and pasted into Articuno's slot. We're talking Glaceon, Regice, Frostlass, even Rotom Frost getting usage for the meme. The Ice type was back. Even if they all did the same thing, you could get away with basically any Ice type in that slot. So, are Ice types still bad? Did you even pay attention to the video? I just told you people that we were out here using Articuno and Rotom Frost. No, they're not even close to being bad anymore. As a matter of fact, they're probably about as strong as they'll ever be. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there's 29 fully evolved Ice-type Pokemon that I can count, and at least 11 of them have seen some level of success in serious competitive play. The Ice-type may not be as spammable as types like Fire, Water, or even Psychic, but despite their niche applications, they've managed to claw their way to competitive relevance once again as something other than a quick check to Landorus or Garchomp. But what do you think about the Ice-type? Is it still bad, or is it actually competitively relevant these days? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more competitive Pokemon content. And if you want to support me further, you can check out my Patreon page, or just click the playlist that's on screen. There's tons of videos in there that I know you'll enjoy. You can also become a YouTube member or become a Patreon member, both of which will get you access to my Discord channel where you can team build with other community members, and we even host tournaments on Mondays. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and click the link. With that, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next video.